Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Kit Evans Ford with Argrow's House and Autistic Loved. We are so excited to share this film focused on social innovation in the Quad Cities region. We got together amazing organizations and leaders doing great work serving marginalized populations, but also employing them through their social enterprises. And so we hope you enjoy great conversation and also seeing some of the people that we absolutely adore as we serve them and they teach us every single day. We hope you enjoy the film. I think for me and for a lot of us, we start organizations, social enterprises because we see a need. We started because maybe we've had a personal experience or maybe we've interacted with someone that for whatever reason we deeply care about that person and we wanted to and because we wanted to help in a certain way, maybe what we saw wasn't created yet. So we felt the need to create something to assist. For me, Argrow's House is helps women survivors of violence. And Autistic Loved helps children with autism. I come from a family where many of the women that I look up to were survivors of violence, including myself, and both of my children are autistic. And so, Autistic Loved was birthed out of my experience with my children. I think that the work and how we develop our programming, we have a vision, bath and body, social enterprise, creating chewable jewelry for kids with special needs. But I think ultimately how we develop our program comes from listening to the community and the needs of the community and educating ourselves around those needs to create effective programming. So yeah, I do what I do just because there's a need and really because of my family as well. We started Argrow's House as a community effort in December of 2017. Argrow's House is named after my dear grandmother, who was a survivor of violence, domestic violence. I remember all the beautiful things that she did to help people in the community as a local church, Methodist church missionary, with feeding people and visiting people in the hospital, so many beautiful things. But I also remember scars from my grandmother and other things as far as her abuse. Seeing violence at a young age, it became like a cycle. So in high school, I started to do nonviolence work and peer mediation kind of work. When I was a Peace Corps volunteer, I became a survivor of an extremely violent sexual assault, doing good work in the community. But unfortunately, that happened to me many years ago. And after that, I was doing a lot of work with women and children already, but when you become a survivor, when I became a survivor, part of what helped me to survive was actually committing my life to what would help not only me, but other women.
I am a 45-year survivor. And so when it all came out with me in the 70s, we didn't have this stuff. You didn't have support places and places that you can make product to support the ladies through their journey. We didn't have that. So when my church had a volunteer session here, service work, I came here and I just fell in love with it. I've been here every Wednesday for about 6 or 7 years.
Argrow's House was at first a meeting space. From there, it transitioned into housing for women and children who needed an immediate safe space. My feeling with Argrow's House is joy. It's amazing to see where it came from 6 years ago.
To me, Argrow's House means standing by the ladies, helping them through their journey of survival, and to tell them that not only can you survive, but you can thrive.
The more soap we sell, the more customers we serve, the more women and children that we can literally help to sometimes save their life, sometimes help to help them provide long-term security for financial success.
continue to make more and more soap, continue to employ, as many women healing from violence as we can, but also to continue to grow our residential program and help our ladies to be the game changer in their families, having their own homes and setting themselves and their children up for even financial wealth and success.
Now, how about you, ladies?
So I used to work at a large congregation, and we welcomed a refugee family of 7 to the Quad Cities. And the group of us who welcomed the family saw in our community gaping holes. And quite frankly, it wrecked us. We also learned at the same time that many people come to our community with these amazing agricultural skills that are shuttled aside because they don't have access to land, they don't have resources. So it's grounded in both a need, which is important, but also the understanding that people who now call this place home or hope at some point to call this place home have amazing skills and talents that could really be utilized in our community.
I started Tapestry Farms because it was clear that our community needed to do better with welcoming refugees to our area. It is important to me personally, but also as a community, that we recognize the skills and talents of people who are coming here to start a better life. We also have a very significant food insecurity problem. And our belief is that the more food that we grow ourselves, whether it be in plots in a variety of neighborhoods or backyards, it makes our community healthier and better. And the refugees who are coming here can participate in that bettering of our community. We participate in a federal program that is mostly for socially disadvantaged farmers. We qualify as women and as refugees. And so that produce we deliver directly to food pantries in our community, and we are compensated at market rate for that produce. We also have a variety of partners, including Nest Cafe and the Genesis Foodplex, where we deliver produce to them and then they use it as part of their programming. And then finally, we also participate in the Quad Cities Farmers Market, which is May through October, to purchase our produce there. So last year we produced about 6,500 pounds of produce. Our goal this year is to produce about 10,000 pounds. The people that we serve mostly come from Syria, Afghanistan, East and Central Africa, so Democratic Republic of Congo, Burundi, Rwanda. We're beginning to welcome some people from Haiti who are escaping some challenging conditions there. So really all over the world, but they come specifically as a refugee, which affords them benefits and services that we are able to support and or provide. We offer family social services supports in the areas of housing and education and transportation and making sure that their basic needs are met. We grow food. This year we've had the honor of working with 5 women, 4 from Syria, 1 from Burundi, who we employ to help grow food in our community. And then the third thing we do is working on building what's called our welcoming infrastructure. Basically, how well is our community doing with welcoming all people, but for us specifically, obviously, refugees.
So we actually utilize, I don't know if you know this, but we utilize your lawn and snow removal services at one of our sites. And it gives me great joy to be at that site when a crew shows up because, during the summer and they've got all of their lawn equipment and they are super efficient and they're hopping on those machines and they're just getting it done.
And to be able to see that and reflect back on good work and something that was important and something that was valuable And most of the enterprises that we have are also doing, community service work. And so they're giving back to the community. They're learning a job. Like, it's just this whole entire thing that really comes together and elevates that person and brings them out of the muck and into this place of possibility and into this place of adventure. People come into our program who think a part-time job at just any place is as good as it's going to get for them, and then seeing them that light click and that inward appreciation and that self-esteem start to rise up, and it opening those doors and it creating an entire new adventure in their life, is really the thing that continues to drive and to build that passion day over day.
180 is a nonprofit program in Davenport, Iowa. We primarily serve men and women coming out of addiction, crisis, poverty, individuals that are coming out of incarceration and wanting to transition back into sober living. We house, on average, about 50 to 60 residents at any time, and usually see about 123 individuals come through the program a year. Our program is pretty unique in the fact that we're not just working on housing them, but we're also working on teaching life skills and living skills. So part of that is our enterprise program. Our enterprise program hires our individuals for the first 7 months that they're with us. Our program doesn't cost anything, so they have an opportunity to go in and work in these enterprises, and part of that income actually supports our program. But most importantly is teaching work skills, and then also just learning how to work together as a team, receive criticism and feedback, and promote their skills and learn new skill sets, with the hope and intention that those skills that they have either lead directly into a job in that field, or alternatively just give them the skill set to where they can go in and rock an interview and land the dream job that they've had. So we have actually multiple different houses that our men and women are living in. We have 2 houses for our men's home that are actually individuals in the program that are receiving services for those 14 months, and then 1 house that's for our women's home. One of the great ways that our enterprises is able to really help us in promoting what we're doing is we purchase additional houses for our stability. So that's for graduates of our program and those enterprises that are coming in. We have an interior remodel program that comes in and actually remodels our houses before individuals are living in it. They also come in and do repairs on our properties and things like that. So they kind of work in tandem together to promote 180 and to help us grow in a sustainable way, but also that idea that they have the opportunity to live there. All of our enterprises are also ran by graduates of the program, so they have to be someone who's graduated through the program, has this idea of a business, but maybe doesn't have the skill set or the ability to get the funding to start their enterprise. So we partner with individuals in the community, or we figure out how to get the supplies needed and the resources needed so these men and women can start up businesses, and then the residents come and learn skill sets from someone who has that lived experience in addiction, so they can mentor them in many different ways, not just in the business way, but also in that social networking way.
I think one of the things that I appreciate the most about social enterprises in the Quad Cities in particular, because we're all committed to social change, we help one another, which doesn't necessarily happen in other businesses. And so we magnify the social change that we're making because we're supportive of one another, rather than in some other communities, there's always this kind of fight over funding, and I just haven't seen that. I think for all of us, the people that we serve and the stories that we get to hear, and the little ways that they let us into their lives, and you can't ask for anything more precious than that. So, yeah.
Nest Cafe is a nonprofit pay-what-you-can restaurant. NEST is an acronym. It stands for Nourish Everyone Sustainably Together. We welcome everyone to pay whatever they're able for their food, whether that's 5 cents or $5 or $50. We ask that everyone participate in some way because we're a community restaurant. We want everyone to have some ownership. We invite people to volunteer in some capacity or share some sort of talent that they have with us so that everyone is participating in some way. our food system is so upside down right now, where it costs more to buy a carrot that grew out of the ground that doesn't have anything added to it than it does to buy a can of beans or a bottle of soda. We serve as much locally grown and raised food as possible so that we're not serving processed foods. People will come into Nest and they'll say, so what nonprofit is this supporting? And so clarifying that Nest is its own nonprofit, we're our own business, and the money that people are paying for their meals and donating is helping Nest stay open to serve the community. We're a community restaurant, meaning that we are a place where people from lots of different life situations, lots of different financial situations can all be in the same place, eating the same food, getting to know one another without the stigma of anyone knowing what someone else paid for their meal. So about a third of our funding comes from what people pay for their meals. About a third comes from grants that we apply for, and about a third comes from private donations. Traditionally, a table has been a place where people come together, but that is just becoming less and less common, and people are really isolated, and mental health has become such a huge issue in our country, and a lot of it is because we're not supporting one another. So I think it's important to have a space where people come together and see each other as human beings. Significant change that happens starts really small, and so I think social innovation is a place where we're kind of the testing ground and the experimental project for greater systemic change. And so I would love to see our food system change so that it's actually easier for people to buy real food than it is to buy stuff that comes in a can or in a package. And so the way to do that is to start doing it in Rock Island, Illinois, you know, in a small restaurant, and then maybe it'll catch on at a greater and more significant way.
You know, as a growing social enterprise, it's just really nice to know that we can take care of ourselves and to make sure our women are paid a good living wage. There's some type of, you know, pride that comes with that. And I think our women see that, and some of them have been encouraged to start their own businesses, right? That are actually doing really well, several of them. And so I think that's a really beautiful part of social enterprise, about that kind of diversity of funding sources. You know, the work is beautiful, right? But there can be challenges, you know, challenges around funding. You know, you were asking about funding, challenges around sustainability, challenges around even serving marginalized and employing marginalized populations. You know, literally making sure people show up, right? And if they don't show up, you show up, right? Because that's just what we do as leaders. So I think for me, you know, personally, leading Argrow's House and Autistic and Loved, I think the biggest challenge for me has been just realizing that I don't have to do this by myself. How about you?
So the challenges that I see for our social enterprise, and I think for a lot of social enterprises, has been, so when we start our social enterprise, we kind of send out this message that, oh, you can buy our product, buy our service, and then you also are doing good in the world. And that's kind of our first message, and it helps and it connects to some people, but then I think it kind of sometimes hurts us in the long run. And I see that almost as a challenge now that we have to overcome, that you're not just doing good by buying from us or paying for our services, but we are a business, and we provide quality products, quality services, and that's why you should be buying from us. These myths and perceptions that because we are a nonprofit, it's not as good, or that and so it's just not the same, it's not the quality there. So we'll only give them a little bit of work. We'll give them this little bit of work while we shift all of our business over here, where we want the big chunk of work because we're doing great things. Absolutely. And so I think that's just always a kind of a challenge. The ARC of the Quad Cities area supports people with intellectual and developmental disabilities through a number of services, through residential services, day services, employment services, assistive technology, and a whole host of things. I think what we want to really focus on today is really our employment services and our social enterprise, QC Flex, which is one of the programs of the ARC that we're very, very proud of and the work that we do there. We use a workforce that's inclusive of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities to do all sorts of things, from box making to supply chain management to custodial services. We listen to businesses and what needs they have, and we try to find solutions for those needs. Really, since our founding in 1952, we've had that kind of drive to find different social enterprises, different ways to do work, teach vocational skills, give people meaningful days and meaningful work in their lives. And so we've been doing it for a long time. So over the years, we've had tons of different jobs that have started, jobs that have gone away. So we've packaged for, we've done lots of different work for John Deere. We've done lots of work for Han. We've done lots of work for all the big players in the Quad Cities area. I think advocating for the people with intellectual and developmental disabilities is why I'm here. I love being a champion of them, their rights, of making sure that people understand and truly accept people with disabilities in all walks of life. And so I'm really drawn to the work because of doing that and the mission. I do really love what we do in a social enterprise as well. It shows people what people with disabilities can do, that they should be working right alongside you in all sorts of businesses in all sorts of ways. And I really enjoy doing that and kind of proving to the world that people with disabilities should be included everywhere. I think it's always been there, the importance of social enterprises, as kind of shown by the fact that we've been doing it since the ARC of the Quad Cities area was founded, and that it was important to say that people shouldn't just be kind of segregated out of society, but they need to be included in society. And then doing that through work, I think, is the ultimate way to show that. And so that people can work alongside, they should be able to produce meaningful things. And we've come a long ways as a society. I think we're just still moving forward and have a few more steps to take, but we really are seeing the value in diversity, the value in inclusion, the value in those things, and how it really creates and makes people think outside the box. And so that gets to kind of the social innovation aspect of it. We all come together, all the nonprofits come together, we can really learn from each other and then grow a sector that I think has no bounds, really.
I think the challenges, especially for transitions, we serve the Medicaid population, are people showing up for not only work, but the appointments. And it's like, we're there to help you. We really want to help you. So just please show up to your appointment. So that has been a challenge. And of course, as Kit said, funding has always been a challenge. What motivates me and keeps me there a lot is our people, is the employees. Like, I feel like our employees, at least the ones that, like, Ann and I have been there for many, many years, and we have a number of employees who have been there for so many years. They become family to you. You want to be there, you want to do a good job, you want to lead a good organization because they are your family as well.
Transitions is a community mental health organization that is a non-for-profit. It started over 43 years ago. It started actually with several adult family members sitting around a kitchen table who were concerned about their loved ones who had mental health issues, kind of launching into adulthood. And then grew from a business into a residential housing program to today, which is now a pretty comprehensive mental health organization that employs over 50 individuals in the community. We have several businesses that we still run, and we employ people with mental health issues. In addition, though, we offer an array of mental health services. We offer to adults, those 18 years and older, we offer therapy and counseling services. We offer psychiatric services. We offer community support and case management, where we go out into the community and we actually help support people with their everyday struggles. Our youth program then is for those 5 to 17 years old, where we work with families and children and adolescents that are impacted by mental health issues, and we provide play therapy and other types of therapy and counseling services to them. Our services are about really kind of helping them back on the road to recovery so that they can move out and live independently again. In a given year, our agency has served between 800 and 900 individuals.
We have a full service printing. We do banners, we do booklets, we have a tollway contract where we print envelopes. This business actually helps fund the programs for transitions. I mean, it does what it's supposed to do as far as make us a better nonprofit.
We also have an award-winning employment program. It's called IPS, Individual Placement Services. The model and the philosophy is that people that are maybe struggling, impacted by mental health issues, have the ability to be integrated into any competitive business in the community. We have aspirations to be the best mental health organization in the Quad Cities. Our vision is to expand and to take on private insurance and be able to provide mental health services to many different populations that are impacted by mental health in the Quad Cities. You know, the days that I might be struggling with my own mental health or my own exhaustion, that gets me up and keeps me going. I tap into those stories. I tap into the good work that the staff are doing. I tap into the courage that our clients show to show up every day. So that's where I draw my strength from.
You know, are we stronger together, and what would bringing us all together in a social innovation hub look like or mean for the Quad Cities?
I strongly believe in the concept of a nonprofit and a business being together in one to benefit the people that are being served. And I guess what I see or hope for in any sort of hub or effort that I engage with is that I can learn something in order to make our organization stronger and better.
And I think the social enterprise and a social innovation hub can help connect people to their work in a different way and make it so that it's work they love and work they cherish and work they want to do. And so if we grow that in the Quad Cities and increase what we're doing, we're adding population, we're keeping people here because we know because they love what they do. And so I think that just helps the entire Quad Cities and kind of lifts us all up.
All of these amazing organizations, 180, Arc of the Quad Cities, Transitions Mental Health, Nest Cafe, Tapestry Farms, Argrow, Autistic Loved, and to see how each organization has uniquely been intentional about serving marginalized populations holistically and intentionally with all these steps, creating a business, you know, and then be able to get information and go and learn more. You know, I just think it's just really inspiring. It would have been nice to know this was possible when I was like 13 instead of 27, you know, but I think a space like this, bringing in school groups, bringing in churches, bringing in, you know, even businesses, you know, that may have social impact or corporate social responsibility models. I just think it can be a really great educational resource for people that may impact their hearts to want to do more in the community in different ways.
So these are my babies, Imani and Justice. This is Justice here. This is Imani here. And at the age of 3 and 4 years old, both of my children were diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. My son has level 3 autism. Early on, he would chew like on his little arm, his cutie patootie arm. He would chew on his shirt. And my husband and I, you know, we said, okay, either we buy a whole set of new shirts every week or we figure out an alternative. And so we discovered chewable jewelry. Some people call it jewelry. But I said, how about I invent a line of chewable jewelry that has my son's face on it, call it the Justice Pendant, so that kids with neurodiversity and who chew will never be ashamed of who they are.
The Autistic Loved store is a bit of a safe harbor. Right across from Autistic and Loved, there's a restaurant. We were having lunch there, and because we figured, oh, they had chicken strips, so we're good to go, because that's an absolute requirement for him. But they took longer than we would have expected, and we ran out of snacks, and Wesley just got what we call dysregulated. And was screaming and yelling and things like that, to the point where I had to pick him up and take him out. I was taking him to the car until I realized that Autistic and Loved was right across the street. We went over there, and he wasn't okay right away, but we took him into the sensory area and got him a new chew tool, and just had him in a really calming environment. I mean, it was very convenient that that happened that way, but it was also very comforting to know that I could go there with a completely dysregulated child that was in the middle of having a complete tantrum, and I was going to be openly welcomed. And Autistic and Loved has really been that for us.
It was my oldest daughter who introduced us to the autism community. We noticed some speech delays. Maybe she wasn't hitting all her milestones. You know, you go to that 2-year-old appointment and she's supposed to be here on the chart and she wasn't. I didn't think too much of it. I'm from a big family, kids are different. But when she wasn't hitting her speech milestones, I got a little nervous. It's tough because I get overwhelmed by a lot of that stuff, so I block a lot of it out. But I think at her diagnosis, Pearl was a level 2, I think, and that's what they say or call it, but Pearl's so much more than that. She's such an interesting kid and so smart and so vibrant and so kind and lovely. The love and support that she gets here at Autistic and Loved is, I can't put a value to it because it's so important to all of us. This kid is gonna be something, and I know it's because of what she gets from Autistic and Loved.
Parents, autism families just desired a sense of belonging, a place where they could learn from each other, a place where they could find resources, and also a safe place where their children could just go and be themselves and have a great time. For something to be here for kids with autism for years to come, I think I've done what I was put on the planet to do. So this is probably my proudest work. Thank you so much for watching the Quad City Social Innovation Hub film. We are so excited that we have these amazing organizations in our very own Quad Cities, serving marginalized populations, but also employing with dignified employment. Thank you to all of my esteemed colleagues and organizations, or our esteemed colleagues and organizations who participated in this film. Please do continue to educate yourself on this work and their amazing volunteer opportunities. Check out everyone's website, and we hope that you continue to be involved in supporting each one of our missions. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day. Peace.